You can remain standing. We'll do the presentation of the colors. Band members, you can sit down. We're about to play. Thank you all for being here today. You can see this is a really big day for our community, a really big day for all of us in this school. One of our primary goals in this Veterans Day is honor our veterans, but it's also to have students involved. One of the things that we're very passionate about is making students see veterans, interact with veterans, talk to veterans, see them as real people on a day when a lot of us don't know veterans. So it's really important we make that connection today. Please remove your hats for the presentation of the colors. Thank you for your respect today. Make sure cell phones are off. Make sure you're quiet the whole time. We're here to honor veterans. Let's do it. Thank you. You may be seated.
Good morning. I'm Jeff Anderson, Commander of Post 113 in the Mount Horeb American Legion. With me is Marty Skid, Commander of Mount Horeb 9511 VFW, and we are here to welcome you this morning. And we want to thank you for your support. I must tell you, and I've said this before, that no community supports their veterans more than Mount Horeb, and we sincerely appreciate it. Marty?
Just like Jeff said, thank you to everyone who makes this day a truly memorable day. Veterans Day is an opportunity for a grateful nation to recognize and celebrate every single individual who has honorably worn the uniform of the United States Armed Forces in war or in peace. Today is about honoring the sailor on the sea, the Marine fighting in any location, the soldier holding the line, the airmen owning the skies, the Coast Guardsmen standing watch on our shores, and the Guardians protecting the skies and beyond. To the amazing citizens of our great community, I thank you for remembering the true cost of freedom. To my brothers and sisters in arms, I wish you a happy Veterans Day and a sincere and heartfelt thank you. Today we must also pause and remember those whose names we no longer call out loud. We hold in our hearts the memory of every man and woman who paid the ultimate sacrifice. After some wonderful music today, you'll hear our guest speaker, Mr. Jerry Hook. As a 25-year Army veteran himself and an active member of both the Legion and the VFW, Jerry is committed to ensuring our local veteran stories are captured for future generations. He will be sharing some of those incredible stories today. But first, please enjoy America the Beautiful, played by the orchestra, followed by Homeland, brought to you by the mixed and concert choirs.
Sure. Paul's not here. Can't pick on anybody. Okay, to have to follow that, all of the music. You know, it's so important to us as veterans when we hear the national anthem, when we see our flag flying, when we hear things like we just heard with America the Beautiful and Homeland. And in Homeland, I heard a few lines. The message, renew our youth. Boy, there are a lot of us that would love to renew our youth. The country that I love, well, with all of us veterans, this is certainly the country that we love. We all come together today, and as a country, we all need to continue to come together. In the song, it said, "May she reign forever supreme." The United States, when it was founded, our founders were smarter than many of us ever gave them credit for. We're still standing today. July 4th, next summer, we celebrate 250 years of our independence. This year, we celebrated the 250th birthday of the Army, the Navy, and the Marine Corps yesterday. So thank you for allowing us to have this Veterans Day ceremony here today. Thank you again to all the musicians. It's incredible to have such talent here for our programs. It sets the tone for all of the things that we do, not just here, but throughout the entire year. Our sports programs, when you see the band playing, when you see the folks who sing the national anthem from the choir, when you see our orchestra perform at the different concerts that they have, we are so lucky to have a community like this. It's fortunate that we are able to have a gathering like this on Veterans Day. I've gone to all sorts of different communities around the state, and I've got to tell you, our community comes together. Whether it's Veterans Day, Memorial Day, we honor the veterans and the veteran service. Thank you so much for doing so. And for the veterans, like Marnie said, we appreciate your service and sacrifice. I wish I could come around and shake everyone's hand and give everybody a high five for the service and sacrifice that you've made for our great country. In the interest of time, I won't do that, but I will ask that we're going to have some participation, and I know that our students are not shy. So all of those people that were varsity sports members for the fall, please come up, and on the chair that I was sitting at, there are envelopes. I would like the students for the fall sports, so you can come forward right now. Come on up. Well, if you're in the band, you can come up if you need your instrument. But if you're in the stands, come on up. Swimming, cross country, football, soccer. Come on up. There's over 100 envelopes there for mail call so that we can distribute those. As you're distributing those to the veterans. Now, the ones in the front are easy to spot. Veterans, I need you to either stand or raise your hand. And that means the ones that are in the bleachers as well. Please raise your hand so the students know where to go. So whether you're in the front or if you're in the stands, you need to let them know that you're a veteran. So please raise your hand and go deliver mail call. I was in the primary center. The primary students did cards for our veterans. So go look, see if there are veterans. If there's somebody that doesn't have one, there's veterans raising their hand back there. If you're in the bleachers, all of our veterans should be honored, please. There's some up. Yep, there we go. If we have extras, you can give an extra to another veteran. If you are a family member of some veteran that's here, go ahead and give them one. Okay. So as we're continuing to move, I'm going to continue to talk. One of the most important parts of the day for many of our service members while they were in the service. Don't worry, if you have one in your hand and you have to give one to a veteran, go ahead and give one to a veteran who may just have one. There's 100 envelopes there, so we've got quite a few. Mail call was one of the most important parts of the day. Some people didn't ever get any letters. Some people got a letter and it was very special. So I appreciate the fact that you were able to go out and distribute those. I appreciate the fact that the primary center students and teachers did this for our veterans. So those letters and cards and pictures were done for you to honor your sacrifice and your service. When I write stories, a lot of times the first place I look for information is this service record book. If you go to the library, they have one. In the Historical Society, they have some. It's a service record book that looks like a yearbook. It was done after World War II. What's impressive about this book is it has a list of Civil War veterans, a list of veterans who were killed during the Civil War, a list of World War I and World War II veterans. This community was much smaller during the Civil War, during World War I, during World War II. But in the book alone, there's over 250 veterans in both World War I and World War II who are honored. Someday I'd like to see us develop an electronic book for everybody beyond World War II that has a connection to Mount Horeb. Now, in this case, it was pretty simple. They went with the picture of the service member, where they were, what their rank was, what branch they were serving in. But again, remember, 250 from World War I and World War II. In the beginning of the book, it lists and shows pictures of those that were killed during World War II. And I'm going to talk for a couple minutes just about a few individuals during World War II. A month ago, we did POW-MIA Celebration Day, Commemoration Day. And we read the story of Corporal Harold Knudsen. So I was asked to tell his story here, and so that everybody gets an idea of what his life was like. Harold grew up in our area on a farm. His parents, Albert and Mabel, raised Harold on the farm with his family and his siblings. He went to a small school outside of town. When he finished school, he started working on farms until August of 1942 when he enlisted in the Army. He went to basic training and off to anti-aircraft machinery training. After his training, he was assigned to the 137th Infantry Regiment of the 35th Infantry Division, part of Patton's Third Army. At that time, Harold had never left the farm before he went into the military. Never been away. So his first time away, he's going off to war. A story that you could probably tell about many of our service members. Again, probably never traveling too far away. I know that many veterans, the first time they were on an airplane was when they went off to basic training for BMT. Harold, when he was assigned to a unit over in Europe, they were in the thick of things all the time, fighting every day. They lost 2,200 men in just a couple days out of 10,000. They continued to fight, and in the Battle of the Bulge, Harold and many of his unit members were captured by the Germans. In the freezing cold, during the Battle of the Bulge, when the Germans took them prisoner, they marched them off after having taken their boots, marching through the snow, off to the prisoner camp. The conditions at the prisoner camp were harsh. The prisoners and the guards had to stay inside during the day due to the Allied bombings. At night, the prisoners were forced to work digging trenches, repairing the bombed-out railroad tracks, and the guards were cruel to every one of the prisoners. Food was scarce. Some of it was sand mixed in with other elements. So as those prisoners continued to work, more and more of them got sick. The conditions got worse. The guards got even more harsh in their treatment. At one point, the prisoners had to stop working because they were too sick. Many times the Germans moved the prisoners because there were forces moving in on their location. So they continued to move these prisoners, typically by foot. Sometimes if they put them in rail cars or in transports, they would load the transport so full, and the prisoners would fight to try and get space. And as they started to fight, the Germans would shoot them. So death was all around these prisoners. Harold, at this point, weighed 90 pounds. When he had gone into the service, he weighed 160. The British came and liberated that camp. Harold survived. Many others didn't. But Harold came back and he farmed. Ended up on the same farm that his family owned. Near the end of his life, he did an interview. He didn't want to talk about his conditions, didn't want to talk about being a prisoner of war until some of the veterans in the VFW and the Legion convinced him he deserved awards, he deserved to be recognized, and he should talk about it, and maybe it would help. So Harold started to open up a little bit, and he was interviewed by a reporter. One of the things that he said that sticks out to me in his story is 50 years later, I wake up in the morning, and when my feet hit the ground, when I'm getting out of bed, I realize I'm not a prisoner. 50 years later, the man was still dealing with being a prisoner of war. So when somebody comes back, they still deal with all the things they saw and did. We had others in our community who were held as prisoners of war. Harold's story is not the only one. Wendell Hoffmaster, John Overdahl, Maynard Mittoon, even family members from some of our folks here were held as prisoners of war. Some came home, some did not. As I continue just a minute more on World War II, during a Memorial Day ceremony a few years ago, we told the story of Jack Holm. Jack was killed in World War II, didn't ever come home. The historian has a collection of 175 letters that he wrote during his service. They're going to do a presentation at the Historium on the 13th of November at 6 o'clock. And it will be a presentation about the soldier himself, Jack, and his family, and those letters that were written and the stories that were being told back and forth. So if you can make it to the Historium, that's great. The 13th of November, Barb Parts will be telling that story. Now, having told those stories about World War II, it gives you an idea and some perspective. But I've got to tell you, every one of these veterans that's sitting out here has a different story. We may have served at the same location at some point, but our careers were different, our experiences were different, we served for a different amount of time, but anybody that raised their right hand I do solemnly swear to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. I could go on. As they served, that's a veteran. That is somebody who raised their hand when many others in our society may not have. Now, some were drafted. Some were told they had to go. Others volunteered. But every one of them is a veteran and is worthy of our thanks. And so I'm going to take a second. Veterans, if you'd stand up and face the crowd because they can see the back of your head. So every veteran, please stand up and face the crowd. Not just the ones here in the front. And I mentioned our community is special. You see how many people we have here that have served. There are still people who are serving. You can see men and women in uniform and one who is not in uniform who is still serving. So the story continues. We have people around the globe that may not be with us today that are serving in our military. So the service and sacrifice to our nation continues for the Mount Horeb community. When you go out to the Mount Horeb Veterans Memorial, you see over 700 names of veterans that have served. Every one of those veterans was proud to serve our nation. There are some veterans that are a little bit shy about saying they're a veteran. Some that may have served here in the States, or may have been in the National Guard or Reserve. I go back to what I said before. You raised your right hand and swore an oath. You are a veteran. We honor veterans in so many different ways. Many of you have been to Badger Honor Flights. How many of you have friends or relatives who have served or are serving? Please raise your hand. Yeah, this community is outstanding. You don't see that in every community. And I've been to many throughout the state. So thank you to those families who are there for us as well. As service members and veterans, a lot of times the family ends up doing all sorts of things they may not have done when we're gone. Whether it's to training or if we are off somewhere else deployed, the family ends up taking the brunt. Whether it's raising children, car breaking down, the refrigerator going out, a stove, it doesn't matter. Something always happens. But the families take care of it. So we thank the veterans and their families. If you need to know different ways that you can thank a veteran, besides just saying thank you for your service, you can volunteer at a Badger Honor Flight. You can go to a Badger Honor Flight. You can write cards and letters to veterans who go on Badger Honor Flight. Write cards and letters to a veteran who might be at the nursing homes. Talk to a veteran. Reach out to them. Maybe you have a veteran in your life. Maybe it's been a little while since you talked to them. Reach out to them. I mentioned how some people still deal with things that they've seen. Reaching out to them, staying connected with those veterans is critical. We lose 17 veterans a day. Don't let that happen. Losing one veteran a day is suicide. It's too much. And it's not just veterans. It's a society thing. We all need to be connected. We all need to be kind to each other. So be there, please, for each other. There are other ways. There are veterans that are at the VA. You can write letters. You can volunteer in there at the VA hospital. There are events that you can go to. We'd love to have you at our events if you want to help, volunteer, or do anything, we love to see the honor and respect that this community has for the veterans and the veteran community. I want to say thank you again for the community for coming out here, for the school district for allowing us to do this here at the school, and the music program for always doing such a great job. Thank the school for the breakfast this morning. And I'll go back to what I started with. A veteran is a veteran is a veteran. And I thank each and every one of you for your service and sacrifice. Please be well. Have a great day. Happy Veterans Day. And thank you again.
All right, so now we all stood up to say, we all represented a veteran in our lives. This next part is kind of an audience participation. What we'd like you to do is stand up in honor of that person or in honor of yourself or a family member, spouse, somebody that you know that served. We're going to play a song that features all the military branch service songs. When you hear the service song that represents the branch of the military for the person you're standing for or for yourself, please please rise, and everybody else can recognize those people standing on behalf or standing veterans themselves. And that's what we'll do. I forget the order of the songs, but I know military veterans you guys will recognize them as they come up. So here's Armed Forces Salute.
Thank you, music. I'm Mr. Lundquist, Cody Lundquist. Get to be the principal here at the high school. And there are a few days a year that you have immense pride for what you do and immense pride in your community. There's always graduation, there's the first day of school, there's certain moments, but this is one of those days that is truly a special place, it's a special time, and it's something that is unique to us. I just want to thank you veterans for your service, for your time, for your commitment. So thank you. I want to thank Jerry Hook again. Thank you for all you do, not only today for this speech, but throughout the community. I see Jerry, I think, running by my house at early hours in the morning at times, and so Jerry's everywhere. So I want to thank Jerry for that work. I'd like to thank Marlene Tilsner. Where's Marlene? Who's also a veteran teacher. Marlene, stand up. Stand up. Marlene came to us a couple years ago as a teacher. And not only came to us as a teacher, as someone who, I don't know, was really looking to retire, but we're going to stick on her for another 15 years. Sorry, Marlene. But she brought an extra energy and extra life to this program that was just so remarkable, Marlene. We thank you for your service, not only to this country, but to this community as a teacher. So thank you. Helen, Matt, John, thank you for the music, always. And Don, thank you so much. You guys are just always fantastic for the students. Students, thank you for being here and being present. This means a lot to the veterans. This should be a lot to you. This is important to understand our history, so I thank you for being here. I do want to point out Noah Coles. Where's Noah? Noah, stand up. No, just raise your hand, stand up. So if you've been to the veteran, our wall out here, Noah did a really amazing project where he took the organization of it and put it online. So if you're wondering, I need to go look for a family member, I'm going to go see where a friend served at our veterans wall. There's a little QR code, you can scan it, and actually you can look for their name and you can find their exact location. Well, I highly recommend always just going through and looking at everybody and honoring them. It's a great project that we appreciate Noah for doing, and it is honor to our veterans. So thank you, Noah, for that project. Before we close out here, there is going to be, we traditionally used to have the rifle salute here. It actually happens over at the Veterans Memorial following this ceremony. So I know students, you have school, but veterans and community members, if you want to head over there, then we'll do the salute there that we have traditionally done here. So just a little announcement there. Again, students, community members, let's give it for our veterans one more time. Veterans, if you don't mind staying tight, we're going to release the students. It was like herding cats in, now it's like a bull rush out. So, students, you can head back to class now. Thank you again. Appreciate your time today.
Shit, 1-5. Cody Pittman was here.
Order. Ho!
Veterans don't leave.
Yeah.